The text message blinked on my screen like a flare in the dark. Can we talk tonight? I think we need to. For the first time in a month, Daniel had texted me something that wasn't logistics or bills. No, I'll be late. No, did you feed Luna? Just that one message, as if silence hadn't already done its slow killing. I sat on the couch, phone trembling in my hand, feeling my pulse thudding in my neck. It was a simple sentence, but after 31 days of emotional drought, it felt like thunder rolling over dry land. Except something about him, felt wrong. When he finally walked through the door that evening, he smelled faintly of someone else's perfume. Not floral or sweet. It was sharp, expensive, something he'd never bought for me. He looked clean-shaven, his shirt neatly pressed. Like he was preparing for a meeting, not a conversation with his wife. "Hey," I said, forcing my voice steady. "Hey," he echoed, setting down his keys. His eyes avoided mine, landing on the window, the couch, the empty wine glass beside me. Anywhere but my face. The silence stretched, heavy and uneven. He cleared his throat. "I've been thinking a lot about us. About marriage. About what it's supposed to mean." Lecture. After a month of emotional exile, I was getting a lecture. I waited, watching the muscles in his jaw twitch as he gathered words like someone preparing to justify a crime. "I feel like we've lost something," he said. "That spark, that connection. Marriage isn't just about love, you know? It's about communication, respect, keeping things alive." I almost laughed. Communication. The irony burned in my throat. "So now you want to talk," I said, my voice thin and trembling. "After ignoring me for weeks, now you want to give me a seminar on how to keep a marriage alive?" He sighed, rubbing his temples. "I wasn't ignoring you. I just needed space to think." I stared at him, searching his face for even a flicker of sincerity. But there it was again, the distance. The glass wall between us. "Did she help you think?" I asked quietly. He froze. Just for a second. Barely noticeable, but I saw it. That fractional pause that said everything. "Who?" he asked too quickly. "You know who." His eyes darted away, and the silence became suffocating. For weeks I'd felt it. The missed calls, the late nights, the sudden need for alone time. The perfume that didn't belong to me. The soft hum of a different kind of guilt when he looked at me. Still, part of me wanted to be wrong. I wanted him to laugh, to say I was paranoid, to pull me into his arms and tell me I was imagining things. Instead, he said, "You're being unfair." That was it. Not a denial. Not a confession. Just a deflection. Cold, careful, defensive. "I'm being unfair." My voice cracked. "Daniel, I spent the last month wondering if my marriage was dying or if I just wasn't enough to keep it alive." He stepped back, as if my pain were contagious. "This is why I didn't want to talk. You twist everything into drama." That's when something inside me broke. Not loudly, but with a quiet, final snap. The kind that doesn't make noise because it's been cracking for a while. I walked to the kitchen counter and slid my phone across the marble. "Maybe you should see this before your next lecture on marriage." He frowned, picking it up. His thumb hesitated before unlocking the screen. And it was a photo. The reflection of his car window captured them both, laughing. His hand resting too comfortably on her thigh. It had been sent to me anonymously 2 days ago. He went pale. "Where did you get that?" he whispered. "It doesn't matter," I said softly. "What matters is that you stopped loving me long before I stopped believing you still did." He opened his mouth, but no words came. His face twisted with something between shame and anger. "Fine," he muttered finally. "Yes, I met someone. Just happened. We were talking about work and—" "Stop," I said sharply. "Don't insult me with details meant to sound accidental." He looked at me, then really looked. For the first time in months. But it wasn't love in his eyes. It was fear. Fear of consequence. Fear of losing the comfort he'd taken for granted. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," he said. You didn't mean to get caught, I corrected. The room felt suddenly smaller, the air thicker. Every photo on the wall, the vacations, the smiles, the promises, felt like ghosts watching us unravel. Luna, our golden retriever, padded in quietly, tail wagging, unaware that everything familiar was collapsing. I bent down, running my hand through her fur, grounding myself in the only pure thing left in the room. He spoke again, softer now. I think we both knew it was ending. I stood up slowly, meeting his gaze. No, Daniel. You decided it was over. You just forgot to tell me. For a long time, neither of us moved. The only sound was the ticking of the clock, a cruel metronome counting down the last seconds of what we used to be. Finally, I said, take your things. Not all of them, just what you'll need. Leave the rest. I'll figure it out. He hesitated. You're not even going to talk about this. I smiled, a tired, broken curve of lips. We just did. For a month you were silent. Tonight you spoke. And somewhere in between, I learned that silence can be louder than any confession. He left an hour later. The door clicked shut, soft but final. I stood in the middle of our living room, the ghost of his cologne still clinging to the air. For a moment I felt hollow, then lighter. The kind of lightness that hurts before it heals. When my phone buzzed again, it wasn't him. It was a message from the same anonymous number that had sent me the photo. You deserved to know. She did the same thing to me. My breath caught. Her other husband. The irony made me laugh. A sharp, bitter sound in the quiet apartment. Maybe marriage wasn't about communication or respect or spark. Maybe it was about truth. And tonight, for the first time in a long while, I had mine. I poured myself a glass of wine, whispered goodbye to the woman who kept waiting for love to return, and finally, closed the chapter that had already ended long before I knew it had.